We now consider a simple model which describes how a person's wealth, denoted here by W, develops over time, during this person's lifetime. The model considers the entire life cycle of the person, which is why it is often called a life cycle model. It divides the person's life cycle into several phases. Although the model is very simple, it will prove useful later for better understanding different aspects of pensions and pension finance. Let's call this person Peter. Peter is born, goes to kindergarten, to school, and receives initial professional training. At age 20, Peter gets his first job. He switches jobs from time to time, but keeps on working until reaching the age of 65. At 65, Peter enters the retirement phase, which he can enjoy until the age of 90. In our example, Peter dies at the age of 90. The life cycle model describes Peter's wealth. It assumes that Peter does not receive any income while he goes to school and receives initial professional training. Once he starts his working career at the age of 20, Peter receives a regular income which is high enough to allow him to save part of this income, which allows him to build up some wealth over time. If, for the moment, we assume that there is no pension system, Peter would have to cover all spending during retirement out of the wealth he managed to accumulate during his working career. This would decrease his wealth during retirement. In our example, there is still some wealth left when Peter dies at the age of 90. And this part, which is marked here in blue, would now be inherited, for example, by Peter's children. Using this life cycle model, the most important questions surrounding pension finance can be easily explained. We will touch upon some of these questions here, and we will cover them in more detail in later parts of this course. If Peter has a good idea of his level of spending during retirement, this depends primarily on Peter's intended standard of living as a retiree, the first obvious question is, what is the required wealth at the time Peter reaches retirement age that is necessary for Peter to be able to finance all planned spending during retirement out of his wealth? Once we know this target level of wealth at the time of retirement, the obvious next question is, how much does Peter have to save each year during his working career to reach this target wealth level at the time of retirement? Both for the target wealth level and for the required annual savings, it is very important to know the conditions available in financial markets for investing the wealth. That is, what the interest rates or investment returns will be that can be earned on the accumulated wealth. Another important issue is the desired wealth level at the time of Peter's death. This depends on a number of factors. Does Peter have children or a spouse whom he wants to inherit something? Or is he without relatives, which may mean that he would not have any problem with dying without a penny in his pockets? At the core of pension finance, however, is the fact that the time of Peter's death, which we simply assumed to occur at age 90 in our example, is not known at the time of planning for retirement. That makes planning so difficult, because unlike in our simplified example, in reality it is not clear that the accumulated wealth has to last for exactly 25 years, from age 65 to age 90. For some Peters who die at age 75, 10 years may be enough, whereas for other Peters living to age 105, their wealth would have to last for 40 years. Pension insurance exists exactly because of this uncertainty about the time of any person's death, and because there are some people who can enjoy their retirement phase only for a relatively short time because they die already at age 75, meaning any spending during retirement occurs only for 10 years, while others live to 105 and have to be able to sustain their spending over 40 years in retirement.